Shabbat Shalom and welcome everybody. I am Rabbi Javier Caravan and I am joined this evening by Leslie and our musicians and our technical team. Our technical team always needs some help, so if you'd like to sign up for that, let us know. Those of you joining us from home, we have a number you can call if there are any problems with the technical aspects of the service. It is 913-303-1134. You can text that number and then one of our docents will help you. And for those of you here in person, we're calling all the page numbers in the square brackets, and take a moment to make sure that all our electronic devices are turned off. And as I walk into the building today, I don't know if you noticed, but it smelled like wonderful baking.
It did.
I wonder why.
Look, I live here. I know when it smells like baking.
It always smells.
Yes, the bakers baked last week. Amazing hamantaschen.
They were delicious. And they've been doing this for a while now.
Yes.
So we decided that the least we could do is spend some time on Shabbat honoring our wonderful Beth Torah bakers.
Yeah,
And
I'm afraid if you didn't come to our Purim event, you don't get the hamantaschen because we ate it all.
right, this is the part that the pandemic brought up a lot of new innovations, but this transporter of physical things we haven't figured out. So if you want to taste their baked goods, you're gonna have to come. This is no other way. This is old-fashioned sweets.
That's
that
right.
we cannot send. And no, we're not gonna send them to your house or anything like that. That was during the pandemic. We did that. We sent you a little bag and all that. Well, that was just then. Now you gotta be here to enjoy them. And we will this evening as well. Before that, and I will invite them in just a minute, and we'll invite you to do the candles down here. We join together on page 121. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our own lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Those of you at home, if you have candles ready to go, if one of you are part of the Beth Torah Bakers and are at home, we invite you to join us virtually. We don't have a way to bring you into the sanctuary, but I know you are with us in spirit. And everybody who's a member of the group, please come forward.
What could go wrong?
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We have more to come about baking and things like that, but not right now. Right now we continue welcoming Shabbat together on page 138 with Lecha Dodi, and we're singing stanzas 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה,
בני שבת
לקבלה.
שמור וזכור בציבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. לשיר תפעלת בלי תהילה לך
דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם משוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי בעולך ומיורי אורי אורי שיר תברי
כבוד אדוני עלייך יגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי כלה
לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. We continue welcoming Shabbat together on page 140 with words from Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור השיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך הרנה. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור השיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Baruch Hu.
Lai, 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 lai.
Yai, lai, lai, lai.
Lai, 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 lai.
Yai, lai, 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 lai.
Lai, 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 lai.
Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai.
Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu.
Et Adonai.
Et Adonai. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, Leolam Vaed. We continue together. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch Ata Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 150. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אמת. Page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we'll still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together. There is a tradition of using Micha Mocha as a way to foreshadow the next holiday. And sometimes what we do is, like for high holidays, we will sing Micha Mocha to the tune of High Holidays and all that. The one for Pesach is usually Adir Hu, which both of us dislike very much, the melody. So we thought we'll do something different on that spirit, but we're not going to sing Micha Mocha to the tune of Adir Hu. You can do that at home at the Seder. We don't have to. But I think you like this one. So we're going to do this through Pesach to get us ready for the holiday.
So the first slide, we'll be singing this for about the next month because that's how shockingly close Passover is. This first slide are the original words by Ellen and Peter Allard. And then when we move to the second slide, we'll be doing, like each week, slightly different words to take us closer and closer to Passover. So I'm going to teach you the melody of the verse real quick. It is incredibly simple, and I'm not just saying that. Standing at the sea, Micha Mocha, standing at the sea, Micha Mocha, standing at the sea, Micha Mocha, freedom's on our way. That is the melody of the verse. Every time we come back to the verse, that is what we will sing. Standing at the sea, Micha Mocha, standing at the sea, Micha Mocha, standing at the sea, Micha Mocha, freedom's on our way. Singing and a dancing, Micha Mocha, singing and a dancing, Micha Mocha, singing and a dancing, Micha Mocha, freedom's on our way. Just a little change. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Next slide. Passover is coming, Micha Mocha. Passover is coming, Micha Mocha. Passover is coming, Micha Mocha. Freedom's on our way. How do we get ready, Micha Mocha? How do we get ready, Micha Mocha? How do we get ready, Micha Mocha? Freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. We gotta mind our houses, Micha Mocha. We gotta mind our houses, Micha Mocha. We gotta mind our houses, Micha Mocha. Freedom's on our way. Our minds are our houses, Micha Mocha. Our minds are our houses, Micha Mocha. Our minds on our houses, Micha Mocha. Freedom's on our way. Singing about freedom. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Nice job. I'm excited. We'll really know that by Passover. Don't sing it at your Seders.
We continue together on page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporez sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך. שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Continue silently through page 180.
עושה שלום בברמה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
After the tragic events of October 7th, 2023 in Israel, during our Shabbat services, we have included special Misheberach for those still in captivity or whose whereabouts are unknown. May the one who blessed Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah, Rachel, bless, watch, and guard the captives, men and women, among others, of the house of Israel, who found themselves in distress and captivity. May Adonai grant mercy upon them, take them out from darkness and gloom, break their chains, redeem them from their ordeals, and return them quickly to the comfort of their families. And may the words of the prophet Isaiah be fulfilled speedily in our own time. Ufiduei Adonai yeshuvun, then the ransom of Adonai shall return. Uvau Tzion berina v'simchat olam al rosham. and come with shouting to Zion, crowned with joy everlasting. Sason v'simcha yasigu v'nasu, yagon v'anacha. Then shall attain joy and gladness, while sorrow and sighing flee. And let us say, Amen. Now our attention turns closer to home, to those of us who are in need of healing of the mind, of body, and spirit. For those of you joining us virtually, you may have access to the Misheberach following the link in the comments. You can also post names there, and I'll try to read them during the Misheberach. And for all of us here in person, we have an opportunity to offer other names. We have a list as well that you've received. So other names you'd like to add? Anybody else? Anybody here? On this side? Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? As we think of those in need of healing, together on page 371, we join our voices in the Mi Sheberach prayer.
Of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
May the one who blessed our ancestors brings blessings of strength, companionship, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace. See if there are any other And we add these names: Chaya, Karen, Lena, Chris, and Ani. Go from Misheberach to a Simcha moment. We invite you to share a special Simcha, a joy from this past week that may include your birthday, anniversary, good news, and accomplishments. You can type them, of course, online, as you all know. When you come up here, there's an X. I invite you to stand on the X, tell us who you are and where you're here, and then come here to this side, kind of closer in front of the ark, so we don't stand in front of the screen. But there you go.
Good evening. I'm Carol. And there's Andrea in the back. Hello, everybody. I'm really excited. I'm going to be going to visit my brother and his family for the first night of Passover, and I haven't been on a plane in over a year. And I'm really excited about that. And I had a very bad case of hives, and I recovered from it, and it was wonderful to have no itching anymore.
My name is Hadassah, and earlier today I had a test for combining like terms for math, and I got a 100% on it. And today my home ec class moved to the to the kitchen. So
I'm Randy, this is Bill. We have two simchas. First, we became grandparents yesterday. And second, tomorrow, Sunday, we'll be celebrating our 39th anniversary.
Well, thank you. I'm looking online. I don't see any simchas. I think that somebody else coming here. The mensch of the month is coming. He still is.
We
We
gotta
haven't
get a
named
new
a new
one.
one. So-
Technically, it was January, so right now I'm just the honorable mention. I'm here all week, folks, all weeks. Thank you. It occurred to me, and those of you online read it because I know you're paying attention to the opening posts, but it occurred to me that this is an interesting week. It started with Holly, right? Festival of colors and joy. It has Ramadan. It has all of the lead up to Easter. We now have a nice Shabbat. This Saturday, we're getting together with friends and we're going to slay monsters. There's a soccer game, and today was Bonus Check Friday. What a fantastic week, right?
You forgot opening day.
What's that?
Opening day baseball.
Oh, I didn't forget. Anyway,
So that
Opening
was
day of
your
baseball.
simcha. Over here we had another extra simcha from Larry Meyer, which is opening day, baseball opening.
Pots on the House of Zucker.
Anybody else online? I don't see anybody. Well, if we miss you, we celebrate your simchas as well, and we offer a prayer together. Divine source of blessing, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. So we now turn to you, O God, with gratitude as we share in the happiness of those who have come forward to mark their good news, anniversaries, and accomplishments of all kinds by a lot of different people in different places. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. And as we honor each one of you for the many gifts that you bring to our sacred community, together we join to mark this sacred occasion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
I'll get it. Don't look at it. Doug, is the line item in the budget for the
You just need a little screw. It's just a little.
You need to start preaching now.
I'm going to start preaching there. So now I have to say a few words before I say a few words, which is not usually a good thing. But a couple of weeks ago, I got a chance to be at the CCAR annual convention in Philadelphia. And during the convention, they presented kind of recognition for all the new books that came out this past year through the CCAR. One of the books, you may not know this, but it was edited by our very own Aviva Simon's mother, Barbara Simon, who's a rabbi, a book about Haftarah. And because we had that connection, I got to write one of the commentaries on that as well. And then there was another book that it was kind of like an interesting book, but I thought, I'll never use this book for anything. And so I didn't buy it because it was too heavy. You'll see why in a minute. Because it had pictures in it and all that. So it's like, a book of pictures is usually heavy. So I didn't want to have to carry. And I already had to carry the book I showed you last week, Dahlia Mark's a book on the holidays in the calendar. So, but today we are honoring our bakers, Beth Torah bakers. So you'll see in a minute as I show you the title of the book, why it's actually very much apropos. So the book is actually called Loaves of Torah, Exploring the Jewish Year Through Challah. Now, hear me for a minute. This is really out there, but I think that you're already thinking about what you're going to do with this. But just let me tell you a little bit. And this is all from the book by Rabbi Vanessa Harper. It's a brand new book. And again, it's a thick book and it has pictures because you'll see in a minute some of the pictures and you'll get a chance to really observe a couple of these pictures later on. Now, she writes, most of the things I'm telling today, they're all from the book, so I'm not going to continue quote. I'm just going to tell you, and then you can read the book by yourself. By the way, the introduction is fantastic. It has everything you ever wanted to know about Challah. So you go read it, and then you'll find out all the answers and for your questions about Challah. And if you don't like the answers, she has tons of notes. You can go and look at the actual sources and make up your mind. Now, challah is really no ordinary bread. It is rich with religious and spiritual resonance. These are all her words, as well as powerful sensory memories that are often connected to community and to culture. This wide range of associations that challah evokes is part of what makes it such a meaningful medium for exploring and conveying other aspects of the Jewish tradition. In this case, the weekly Torah portion. Now, think from 52 Torah portions, 52 different shapes of challah. You're in for a treat. Now, I haven't tried any of them, but they're nice pictures. Now, using the challah dough, this is how she explains it, to interpret and teach Torah is a recent phenomenon. Some verses lend themselves better to visual interpretation than others, especially when the medium used is not as precise as pencil or as versatile as paint. Now, a few connections, what I thought this would be the Shabbat to talk about this particular book. First of all, we're at the end of Women's History Month. And Rabbi Harper writes, the interpretative challah takes the traditionally female province of making the bread and turn it into an egalitarian medium for teaching Torah. Because, men bake too. I do. There's a Pesach connection. She writes, just as the Pesach Seder plate is an edible centerpiece designed to provoke questions and learning, so too is the interpretive challah, but instead of being a fixed set of symbols, the challah offers a dynamic canvas for creating Torah uniqueness each week. So if you make that different one a week, you're going to get to interpret this in a minute, just at least silently. Well, you can have your own interpretations later. And finally, of course, our Beth Torah bakers. This is when I think the ideas behind the book are more universal. If you're not a baker and if you tried and it didn't work, especially working with yeast, it's a challenge, as you all know. Well, I know at least, but a lot of people know. The process of making something nourishing and delicious for family, for friends, and for ourselves with our own two hands is incredibly rewarding. And nothing elevates a Shabbat table like a fresh homemade challah or baked good. If you are not planning to make challah anytime soon, Rabbi Harper says this book is still for you too. Let it serve as a starting point for Torah study and inspiration to tackle Jewish learning through other creative lenses. So baking is not your thing, painting, decorative I like this one. Decorative hummus swirling. Writing or whatever gets your creative juices going. And finally, at the end of the day, the real value of this endeavor is process over product. The act of making the dough, interpreting the text, designing a visual interpretation, and bringing that much more care, thought, and love to the centerpiece of your festive table. Besides, even if it does not turn out looking exactly the way you want it, it will still taste delicious, and you can always blame it on the yeast. So, this week's Torah portion is Parashat Tzav, and if you don't know about Parashat Tzav, it's all about sacrifices and really the instructions of the priest and what they were supposed to do. So in here is, to give you an example, how she focus on one particular verse, and from that verse, you'll get at least 2 possible halot. She was doing this for about 4 years before the book came out. So she has 2 or 3 of each Torah portion.
You can see them on Instagram.
Yes.
If you're on
we'll have
Instagram.
everything. We'll send everything around as well. We'll get, but we do, yes. And did you create the QR code too?
I did not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I failed at that.
Oh,
but,
I'm sorry. I didn't want to announce
that's okay.
it, but there will be a QR code and something. We'll get it to you.
Yes.
So the verse that the Rabbi Harper chose is, "A perpetual fire shall be kept burning on the altar, not to go out." And the word here is esh tamid. Of course, there's a word there you kind of know, but the word here is perpetual fire, esh tamid. The priests, Rabbi Harper explains, who offered sacrifices in the Mishkan and later in the temple, may wear fine clothes. And as a matter of fact, the description of the clothes, it's really detailed in this week's Torah portion, but their work is by no means delicate. Now think for a moment, offering animal sacrifices, they're actually the butchers. You understand this, right? And there's a lot of physical labor involved, such as slaughtering and butchering large animals, tending fires, and carrying piles of ashes outside of the camp. And the work was really messy, bloody, smoky, and smelly. And these working conditions are governed by highly detailed rules, which with grave consequences if you make any mistakes, as we will see if you read the Torah portion. Now, the work of the priesthood is physically and mentally exhausting. So the question is, what enables the priests to do this difficult and sacred work day in and day out? One of the tasks that they had to do daily in the Mishkan offers a fitting metaphor to explore what kept the priests going. There's a fire that burned constantly on the altar, the Esh Tamid, the perpetual or eternal fire, which is used, this is when it gets a little complicated, the fire is used to keep the menorah, the candelabra, lit, and also to ignite the burnt offerings. Of course, the precursor, the menorah itself is the precursor of our Ner Tamid, the eternal light, found in just about every synagogue or prayer space. The Esh Tamid symbolizes this God's eternal presence. And as long as the Esh Tamid is kept alight, it can ignite any number of other fires without being diminished itself. It's magic. It's not, but it's just what fire does. But this fire cannot stay eternally lit all by itself. So it requires care and attention in order to keep it burning. The ashes need to be swept away so that it can be breathed, and the rotation of priests throughout the day need to keep an eye on it to see when it needs to be fed or protected from strong winds. So manifesting and sustaining the symbol of God's presence in the world requires human attention and care. The same can be said for the humans who did and continue to do this work. The fire within each of us that powers the work we do in the world is powerful and holy, as well as capable of kindling the lights of others. However, we need to take care of our flames, sweeping away old ashes to give them room to breathe, feeding them by physically and spiritually nourishing ourselves, giving them the attention that they need well before they threaten to extinguish themselves. Self-care is sacred because it is by keeping our own flames burning that we have the strength to do the work God ordains each one of us to perform in the world. What is the work that your internal esh tamid, your eternal flame, fuels you to do in the world? What are the kinds of things that feed or restore your flame, that recharge your mental, physical, and spiritual energy? Things either that you do for yourselves or that you do for others. So we're going to take just a few seconds. At the end of each one of the interpretations, there is a very short kavanah. It's an intention. And this is a kavanah for this Torah portion. The esh tamid within me requires and deserves regular care. I tend to my own flames so that they are strong enough to kindle lights for others. I'll say it again. The esh tamid within me requires and deserves regular care. I tend to my own flames so that they are strong enough to kindle lights for others. So it takes just a few minutes to think about how that kavanah is represented not by words, but by the image created by a baked good. Pretty amazing, I thought. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And happy baking.
I will get in the e-news this week a link to her book and a link to her Instagram page because I helped find some of these pictures. You guys, you've not seen bread until you look at this woman's Instagram. She's got trees and clouds and grapes all made out of challah. It is amazing.
It's amazing. So you never know what's going to come handy. You know, you got to go to these places, be exposed to things, and then you say, okay. Our service continues now as together we join in Aleinu L'Shabbat. It's on page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שמנו חלקנו בהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשחרים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. As a congregation, we are observing the Shloshim period for Jack Childs, father and father-in-law of Casey and Rabbi Mark Levin. And on this Shabbat, we remember the following yortzites of members of our congregation: Harry Belmont, Elaine Ray Sherman Evnan, Rose Fishman, Cheryl Harris, Jerome Jerry Inger, Yida Kaplan, Eddie Kirschenbaum, Ida Jenny Levin, Reggie Lloyd, Sophie Lowenstein, Martin Michael, Regina M. Moe, Tanny Shafran, Ron Simons, Rose Skigny. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. If you're able, please stand and join us in Kaddish Yatom, the mourners Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דא אמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל ישראל
It's time for some announcements. Special thank you to all our Beth Torah bakers. Here all their names. Many of you are here with us this evening in person and virtually, so thank you. There he goes. And thank you to our musicians, Leslie, Warren, and Larry, and to our technical team for bringing us into the wide world web.
Our Shabbat celebrations continue tomorrow with Sichat Shabbat at 9 a.m., followed by Shabbat morning worship at 10:30 in our sanctuary. What is happening? Haha, there it is.
I don't know what you're doing. That's not the
That
correct.
is also wrong.
No worries.
What is happening? Well, tomorrow we're still having
Sichat Shabbat,
and
and
we're
we
still
have
having
service.
Shabbat services, and we're still having religious school on Sunday.
Yeah, and now we do, that's kind of correct. Part of it is, be sure to register for our second night congregational Seder. Come celebrate with us on April 23rd. Bring your own kosher lefesach dinner or order from the Jewish Experience by April the 8th. And if you do that, we'll pick it up and warm it up for you, but you have to follow the link and get there before the 8th.
And we also request that you register with us so that we make sure to have enough matzah for everybody who is attending. And then Sunday morning is our next You know what? You need to hire somebody better than me. Sunday morning is our next conversation about examining anti-Semitic conspiracy theories with Elaine Tobias. That is 10:30 in the library.
And then on Sunday as well, join Corbin Lentz and Samuel Tucker at 3 p.m. on Sunday to watch The Prince of Egypt. This movie is free, but we encourage you to purchase a bag of the concession goodies to raise money for the Mitzvah Project benefiting the Sasson program here in town. Bring blankets and pillows to enhance your movie watching experience.
It's going to be in the Triangle at 3. And I'm sure that we can get you a chair if you're not a sit on the floor kind of person. Oh, and next Sunday we encourage you to come and support Hazel Metcalf as she becomes a bat mitzvah.
And there's, of course, a lot more going on. We are now up to few slides for the March events. I don't want to say how many, because in case April, right. We encourage you to participate on your CBT community activities. And yes, do we have a closing song, though?
We do.
And it is a correct closing song, but we're all set. Because one of the things that baking together does is creates community. So here we go, Kehila Kedosha. If you're able, please stand and join us.
If you are a 10, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a 10, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha. Must heed the call. Each one of us must seek the truth. Each one of us is a part of it. Each one of us must remember the pain. Each one of us must find the joy. Each one of us. Each one of us. Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha. Kehila, Kedosha. Each one of us must start to hear. Each one of us might sing the song. Each one of us must do the work. Each one of us must right the wrong. Each one of us must build the whole. Each one of us must hold the whole. Each one of us. Each one of us. Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila. Shabbat Shalom. Take care of each other out there.